A governor that refuses, or government that refuses a dialogue with bandits is irresponsible. Ex-NHIS CEO Prof. YUSUF. Nigeria former President Olusegun Obasanjo is currently having peaceful talks with the leaders of Tigray region and Ethiopian governments to restore normalcy in the East African country. This was revealed Saturday by former Chief Executive Officer of the National Health Insurance Scheme, NHIS, Professor Usman Yusuf, while advocating for dialogues between bandits and the Nigerian government. Yusuf maintained during a program, City Talks with Ruben Abati, that any government that shies away from having reconciliatory talks with aggrieved groups of a society is irresponsible. Would you really call bandits aggrieved? And currently, President Obasanjo, or ex-President Obasanjo, is dialoguing with Tigrayans and Ethiopians, and he also dialogued in South Sudan. Dialogue is the most sustaining way of securing the society. That's not to say anyone is tolerating banditry or giving excuses for these bandits. Well, if you don't consult or have conversations, okay, I guess your approach may be different, but that does not mean that they will not suffer the consequences. I mean, these people are destroying lives and property, raping women, and what kind of conversation or dialogue do you want to have with people that communicate through physical damage? It doesn't make sense. The Tigray region of Ethiopia shares borders with Eritrea and has been known for unrest for decades during the war between Ethiopia and Eritrea. There have been conflicts in the region for over the years. About 60,000 people have fled as refugees, while nearly many others have been displaced in the region. So in his words, he says, "This country is on fire and I don't see the fear or urgency of now. All government at all levels should address the issue. It is not military. For a governor or government saying we are not dialoguing is outright irresponsibility. Dialogue is a very essential tool in any conflict." I think, okay, well, we do not live in a rainbow fairyland, right? Like, come on, okay? Wars in the world, somebody definitely had the upper hand. There was intimidation, there was bullying. I am not saying that is the way it should go, but you're talking about world powers here. So again, now, if you come back to our country, he says a governor or government that refuses to dialogue with bandits is irresponsible. Bandits, I think there's miscommunication going on here, because it says he describes bandits as an aggrieved people, like as if they've gone through something. The fact is, no one cares and no one owes you understanding. If you make a decision to go and cause pain on others, you will suffer the consequences. Yes, you can argue that fine, the country has influences that actually lead to people going into crimes, like, lack of education, lack of industrialization, no promotion of jobs or creation of jobs. Fine. However, if you choose, these are influences, yeah? And if you want to change that, and you can have people go protest, fine. But then if you choose and use that as an excuse, you've committed the act. You're in a country like Nigeria, okay? Like, we're in a country where you help yourself, really. And it's unfortunate. There's some things, okay, fine, you should have an upper hand because you're a citizen and the government should help you out, yes. But again, even down to providing water, we provide it ourselves. So again, it's not even like no one is doing it, but no one is doing it with any help of a government, not to justify crimes or whatever, but that's how people in Nigeria have been surviving. Somebody says, as a reaction, these guys have gone for training in all terrorist-loving countries that you may think of. Now they want to take Nigeria hostage. Southwest, South, open your closed eyes. Don't let your politicians put you for internal wahala. All our big politicians kept silent because they are smiling to the banks at this time. True. At this point, I mean, I don't know if there's sort of intimidation that's going on. It doesn't, I don't know, it's hard to think because there's really no reason, because they're exposed and they don't know what to do. So again, there's no point thinking why the government or the governors or politicians are literally choosing to keep Nigeria where it is. I don't think we'll ever know, apart from a generic answer of like greed, money, all that. What else can we think of, to be honest? Someone says, what good thing has dialogue brought all this while Sheikh Ugumi efforts have they stopped ravaging? If you don't know the way out, better keep your mouth shut. In as much as terrorists still stay in government, the insecurity issue will still linger on. Well, someone says you lie, no reasonable government or leader establishes dialogue with terrorists. Again, I'm like, dialogue. When you dialogue, you're open to what somebody else is saying. Okay, fine. You can say rehabilitation, okay? For the bandits, that does not mean while they're in jail, they can learn a skill if they're in jail for like 10, 12 years. Not that. I mean, depending on what the judgment is, but you can still give them something to do in jail. Maybe that's what you mean. But that does not mean they will not pay or suffer the consequences of their action. You know what I mean? Like, if you want to go into therapy, that is your problem. But they need to pay for what they've done and the lives they've taken. When you dialogue, when you say the word dialogue, you are assuming that whoever is involved, there is some sort of power that they hold. The bandits hold no power. Why? Because they're under the government, and the government would, overrule and put a judgment on them. That's how it normally works, except I'm getting something strange. Someone said dialogue with a criminal. Anyone who is advocating for a dialogue between the government or governors is a manipulator and should be treated as a criminal or terrorist or terror. Enough is enough for these criminals with the double faces. Again, the real criminals are even the ones in government, and that's a whole other conversation. You can say that. But again, it's like you show how much of a criminal you are for us, or for you to advise the government to see how much, to open their knowledge into how the other side is, or having the whole word dialogue is just inappropriate, highly inappropriate for this matter. And this is something where they need to pay, as in go to jail, not death, but like go to jail. Somebody says God is exposing the sponsor of this terrorist in Nigeria. Again, I even saw. Well, I just saw. I think it was on Instablog where we saw like a number of soldiers going to go fight, in either of those East African countries. And it was a bit like, it was just, I don't know how Nigerians felt about it, but it was I don't even know what to say. We're going through so much, and then a fraction of our soldiers are going to fight in another country. Who says that? Who does that? Who does that? No one. And so it's like, how come? How is that even possible? I mean, how can we give out? How can you give what you don't have? Doesn't make sense. Nigerians, what's going on? Put what you think in the comment section below, and don't forget to like and subscribe.